that level of drama where you have sides attacking, like Jake Paul fans saying this, and then you have ALISSA fans saying that. How do you think you would deal with a situation like that?
I would,
because that comes with the territory.
I would actually crumble, but this is why I'm not an influencer. This is why I haven't. I could easily, be like, ALISSA, let's do YouTube. I mean, ALISSA's always trying to put me on. She's one of the best friends I've ever had.
Oh, I know. Life. Yeah, she put you on blast.
I mean, she is just. When my show came out, she plugged it like.
Welcome into the podcast, another episode of Livin Large. If you're new here, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and join the Livin Large fan base. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Today's guest, we have a actress. She's a model scout. She's got her own Snapchat show, and we met at this random ass club / bar in a basement.
Did we?
Vivian Benitez. Fuck.
Oh my God, I'm clearly the least famous person you've ever had on this.
You have a difficult last name. What is it? Is it of Cuban descent?
Cuban.
If I were to guess. No,
if I were to guess.
She just told me before the podcast where she's from.
100%.
Do you remember when we met?
No, I don't remember when we met.
Oh wow, it was your birthday. Remember we were at that place under the Roosevelt?
That was we met there. This is my 21st birthday.
Was it your 21st birthday?
Yeah, you got to give me some.
Yeah, of
some
course.
Like,
so she's like, wait, I don't even remember this guy. He texted me to be on the podcast. I'm like, who are you? I'm like, oh, remember? Like 4 years ago?
4 years ago. I mean, I haven't seen you in like almost that amount of time.
I know, and it's funny because...
you need to walk me through how we met because I really have no recollection.
Well, that's all that I remember. I think you're friends with ALISSA Violet, who I was friends with her / roommates with back in the day.
Right.
And she was like, hey, I'm at the Roosevelt at this birthday party. You should come.
Oh my God. Yeah, we had it at Beecher's Madhouse. It opened for one night. It was
right,
my
that place
birthday.
doesn't exist anymore, does it?
Yeah, and it's so cool.
Wasn't like there like a big Beyonce or something? What was
Big Beyonce? And you know how drunk I was? So, and this is such like a bullshit Hollywood story. I
was sitting there with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh God.
Remember that? The lookalike. There was a Leonardo DiCaprio lookalike there.
Okay, so this is where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So like 2 weeks before that, and that was when I was, I was on like my club crawling scene.
Okay.
And a couple weeks before that, I had like met, and I say with like quotations, met Johnny Depp at Hyde.
Oh no! Oh yeah, it was Johnny Depp. Okay.
And he was so sweet, like
Did he sound like? What did he sound like?
Johnny Depp does.
That's how he talks.
Remember, I used to wear a gold tooth.
Yes.
And he like commented on something about the gold tooth, and then that was it.
Does he mumble like that?
He was very mumbly. He said, these days you have to keep your gold where no one can see it. I like your
Stop.
tooth.
He did not say that.
Yes, it was something like that.
Was he still playing Pirates of the Caribbean or what?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's kind of who he was. Who he is. I think he's just kind of playing himself, but like pirate like.
Okay.
Anyway, and I was so drunk, and so like had the audacity to even if I saw Johnny Depp on the street the next day, I wouldn't say anything. Mm-hmm. There was a lookalike Johnny Depp at Beecher's, and I was like, Johnny, what's up? And the guy was like, yeah, hey, and I'm like, and my friend next to me was like, Vivian, that's not actually Johnny Depp, and you're such a fucking loser.
You know what's crazy? I thought it was.
It looked so much like Johnny Depp.
Literally split image of Johnny Depp. And I was there, and that was like when I was new into Hollywood, and I was like, yo, Johnny Depp's here. And I like thought about it because I saw a bunch of like the big Beyonce, and then there was someone else, and I was like,
yep,
okay, this isn't the real Johnny Depp.
And they had do you remember Wee Man from Jackass? Wee Man was flying on not lookalike.
Oh, it was actually
real Wee Man flying. They had him
real
Wee Man flying suspended through the club. You don't remember? It's that
was a crazy weird party.
I just burped. Can you hear that?
Yeah, we can hear everything. Shit. How classy is she? She brought her own bottle of wine. She's going to down it and probably be Liddy McSplitty by the end of this podcast.
I know you're really going to get it out of me. I mean, I don't know. There's not much I can't do better with a couple glasses of wine in me.
There you go. I'm doing 30 days sober, or else I would join you with some tequila.
I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you.
I have to do it. But I like to lead the podcast off with a personal like story anecdote. That was one of them. Here's another great one that, do you remember a year ago? Roughly a year ago.
No, what happened to you?
Remember when we were texting and you're like, hey, when are you going to take me on a date? And then I was like,
that was not a year ago. That was like, was it a year ago?
Yeah, probably a year
ago.
Oh
my God.
I was like, I have a girlfriend. And then you never texted me back.
No. We got to talk about this because since I had met you, it was always like back and forth. We met how many years ago? Like three, four.
How old are you now? 25?
No, 22. I'm 20. Yeah, I'm 22.
Then we didn't meet at your 21st birthday.
At Beecher's, if it was
at
the
Roosevelt
Beecher's Madhouse, then we met on my 21st birthday. But I'm turning 23 in December, so it's been like a year. It's only been a year and a half, has it?
No, that was so long ago. Then it wasn't your birthday that we were there for.
Yeah, then it must.
Because I lived with Alyssa, and that was 3 years ago.
Okay, then you didn't meet me on my 21st birthday.
Then I met you.
You were at my 21st birthday. That's not when we met.
Right, we met at the Roosevelt thing. Anyways, regardless, we've known each other for a few years. So, anyways,
but what was I saying?
That every time we talk, it's very
every
back
time
and forth.
we talked, it was like back and forth, and like, you know, it was always something like I feel like we were always planning on going out and doing something.
We were flirting.
It was a very flirtatious beginning of a relationship, and then you're like one of those guys who just like texts you that is just like, hey, what's up at like 10 p.m. and like I'm just not gonna
I'm that guy?
Yeah, you're that guy. I mean, I think it happened like 5 times where you're just like, what's up at 10 p.m.
I went through a very fuckboy stage.
All I said to you was, hey, like I kind of gave you like an ultimatum, which was just like, you're gonna take me on a date or I'm not like talking to you like this. This is weird. You know, I'm not one of those girls that you can text whenever you want and just be like, what's going on?
I like that you call me out on that.
Yeah, and then you said you had a girlfriend, so I backed off. I'm very respectful, and I didn't, you know, I didn't answer just because of that reason. Like when someone says I'm in a relationship, like that's hands off for me. You know what I mean? Well,
that's very nice of you.
Yeah.
Maybe I could get a nice coffee with you sometime. In the morning at like 8:30 in the morning. How's that?
8:30 in the morning sounds great.
Okay, cool. We'll do Runyon and then we'll go get a cup of coffee. Well, yeah, thanks for calling me out. Guys, I was a fuckboy when I first moved out to Los Angeles. I thought I was the shit. I'm not like that anymore.
Oh, are you not?
Yeah,
did this relationship change you?
Yeah. No, actually it did. But, you know, I text a girl at like 9:30 now. You know, I try to keep it.
9:30. I mean, before 10, it's, you know, it's everyone's
okay.
game.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sure. I mean, it's just a little
I'm
more
kidding.
respectful.
But 10 p.m.'s not bad.
No, it's not bad. It's not.
It's not 2 a.m. after the club type shit.
Oh my, yes, that's way worse. But I'm sleeping anyway, so I always get those texts like in the morning, and I laugh.
Yeah, I want to talk about because I hit you up to hang out this weekend, and you're like, oh, I like to go down to like Laguna during the weekends, right?
Yes.
Why? You're like, I got to get out of LA. Why do you? You're so in LA because you. We'll get into like the model scouting and what you do. Why do you like to get out of LA when you're like that's your lifestyle?
I am just I need the ocean. And
why not Santa Monica? Why not Venice?
That water is brown. It's disgusting. Like I literally every time I've gone in that water,
it's really cold
I think
too.
I've come out either pregnant or with HPV. I definitely have HPV just from going in the water in LA.
So what's the difference between Laguna though? It's still the same ocean.
No. Laguna is absolutely gorgeous. It's like fucking Hawaii. Like you can swim out 30 feet.
Aren't there sharks?
No, there's not. I mean, it's crystal clear. You swim out like 100 yards, it's 30 feet deep, and you can see straight to the bottom. It's beautiful. It's absolutely, and it's just like a smaller town. It's a completely different vibe. It's an hour and a half away, and it really does feel like you're on vacation. I just need to like get out of Dodge sometimes, you know? This like bullshit here gets a little
No, that's what I want to get into. Like why? Because a lot of people listening, they don't live in Los Angeles, and the dream like that we all portray in social media and whatever is like you got to go to LA if you want to be a model, an actor, or whatever, you know, like but a lot of us like while we're here and a lot of people say the same thing you're saying is like LA sucks, and that's like a perception too. My brother even, he's like, you know, why'd you move to LA? Like everybody's fake as fuck. Like
I mean, I don't really, so you know, I came from New York, and this is what I always say. This is my theory about LA, New York, is that New York is a city that takes energy from you, but the people give it, and LA is a city that gives you energy, but the people take it. And I much rather be in a city that I don't have to rely on people, which is why I do love LA and California so much, that it's just like whenever I'm feeling a little drained, I can drive down to Laguna. I can go to the desert. I can go to the mountains. I can do whatever I want. And in New York, I mean, there's really no escape. It's like I moved to LA and I didn't realize that like you didn't have to be miserable. I thought that was just like a part of life, you know?
Yeah.
Growing up in New York and being there for so long, it was just, I thought that was just how the regular like human state.
Were you from New York, like Manhattan?
So, I mean, I'm from New Jersey, but I'll never admit it.
Okay, why?
But no.
Well, how do you say water?
Water.
Oh, okay, cool.
Water. No, I'm not like from like I grew up like 20 minutes out of the city, so I was in the city so much, and I know it doesn't count, but still. And then I moved there when I was 17 as an adult and lived there for a couple years.
By yourself?
By myself. So I just always I came from New York to LA, so I'm always just like, yeah, New York.
Why'd you choose LA? Did you visit here before and then we were like, oh, I want to go here?
No, I'd been here once before, but I mean, it was kind of a funny story. I was working in New York at One Management with Scott Lips. And
is that a modeling agency?
Yeah, it's a modeling agency. And I was just really, really depressed. And I was living in like a 5-bedroom apartment in someone's like walk-in closet. I was paying $1,000 for a walk-in closet.
Really? I lived in a walk-in closet too when we first met, except I didn't pay rent.
No way. Yeah, $1,200. I mean, it wasn't.
New York's like rent is crazy. Like LA's bad,
crazy.
But New York is next level terrible.
Yeah, and it wasn't like en suite. It was like in the hallway, and it was a good size walk-in closet. I could fit a full bed in there, which was nice.
Okay.
But nothing else.
Okay.
And I was.
Were you like bringing guys back, and you're like,
no,
hey, come on to my closet.
One, I was like 18, and yeah, no. And I was just like super depressed, and I figured out what I actually wanted to do with my life was to act. And that took a long time to admit because I was, I started working in the fashion industry at 16. And so to admit that I wanted to actually be in front of the camera was like a huge thing for me when, I was so ingrained that I was like a behind the scenes person. And,
did people give you shit for that or did you?
No, this was all in my, in my own head. I mean,
I think I had a similar
18
thing.
years old. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, I know a little bit about yours that you were behind the scenes with ALISSA and Logan and all of them. Right. And then I was like
nervous to go in front of the camera because I was kind of intimidated by them. I was like sitting here and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be a guy that films, but like I really, I went to college to be on TV. So like it was weird for me to come out here and be not on it.
Exactly.
And watch all these other people be on it.
Right?
And I was like, that's what I want to do.
But and I'm helping all of these people, not that this was your experience, but I was like helping all of these models. Become something, and they weren't appreciative. They weren't handling it like a business.
Right.
They weren't appreciative. They weren't doing everything that they could be. And I was like, oh God, if I was blessed with the ability to just be paid for what I looked like, and that had nothing to do with my talent or my brain, the things I would be doing if I could model. You know what I mean?
Not to say that all models are like that, but I definitely understand. No. I want to get on to this like topic since this is what you do. When I first moved out here, it was a very strange thing the way this modeling world looks because the girls live in a model house. Yeah. Which and I figured this out early on, and I had a friend that she lived in Toronto, and she's like, I want to move out to LA. Yeah. And I was like, don't fall into the trap. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, half the girls that come out here, they fall into this trap where they go into the clubs and they become like, oh, go to the club every night and hang out with promoters. And then that's what they do. Yeah. Then the other half, they work hard, they build their Instagram following and they go book these jobs for PacSun and all this, whatever. Now Ignite everyone's with Ignite.
Dan Blazarian's company?
Yeah.
Did you really just plug that? Ugh.
I mean, I'm not plugging it, but I made a joke on the last podcast that he employs like half the girls in LA.
I just think he's like disgusting. I really do.
I've never met him personally.
I think no, nor have I, but I think what he's doing to the culture just on Instagram is like an abomination. Yeah. I really, really do think that. I think that this like fuck bitches get money and smoke weed and not that these girls are blameless. I think I'm going to dig myself into a hole here because I have very strong opinions about absolutely everything, which you'll find out. But that's something that I really do not think is good for anybody.
Right.
To be idolizing, you know?
I know. He's like a college driven demographic, I would say.
Yeah. And
we don't have to talk about him. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying. How does it work? Because I know they live in these model houses, and I would see girls at the club at One Oak. One girl's like a huge model now. She was like 16 at One Oak.
Yeah, totally.
How does that work? Like, how are these girls, like, they're living in a model house. They don't pay rent, right? But they have to pay it back.
They have to pay it back, yeah.
And how are they, and why are they going to the club? At underage, like significantly underage.
Because they're beautiful and they don't look. I mean, I was going to the club at 16, 17.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm not like, whatever. I'm not a model. They're beautiful, and these guys they don't care. It's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell. It's a really skeezy, dark underbelly of every city.
But why don't the modeling
LA.
agencies step in and say, hey, look, like, if we catch you out at the club, like, you're gone. You know, there's no like guidelines or restrictions. It's kind of expected, it feels like.
I know that I've never been a part of a company that, you know, represents any of those girls. I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I know that I've only worked for kind of top tier.
Yeah. You're with Wilhelmina now, yeah?
Yeah. I work for Wilhelmina now, but even before, like, I work with professionals that don't want to deal with that shit, and so you can tell if that kind of girl walks in the doors, and you just don't represent them.
Right.
It's as easy as that. I don't know about all of these other girls, and I also don't think, I think these girls are their own people, and it's not the modeling agency's job, it's their parents, and like, where are their parents? Why aren't you asking about their parents? You know what I mean? If they're 16 and at One Oak, you think that it's the person that employs them's job to tell them not to be at One Oak?
You're making a good.
You know, it should be the parents, I think.
Well, I agree. And I was even at a party previously, and I'm sitting there and talking to this girl, and she like tried to kiss me, and I was like, whoa, and tried to kiss me again. I backed up. I'm like, no, chill. Like, I'm not about that. Anyways, we're sitting there, and then some dude comes up. He's like, hey, how old are you? And she's like, 18. He's like, no, you're not. You're 17. He's like, let me see your ID. And she's like, I forgot it. And I was like, wow. Like, 17 years old, 1 o'clock in the morning, out in this, you know, mansion party or whatever. Like, and I literally said this to my friend. I go, where's your fucking mom?
Yeah.
Like, why is your mom allowing you to be at this party at 1 in the morning at 17? When I was 17... I just hit the mic. When I was 17, my curfew was 11 p.m. And if I didn't meet my curfew, I was grounded.
Yeah, I didn't have the same experience. I started working at 16. I have an 8th grade education. Literally.
Really? You didn't go to college or high school?
I dropped out of freshman year. And my mom said, you either need to get your GED and go to community college, or you need to get a job, thinking I would never actually get a job. And I got a job.
Well, you had to grow up really fast then.
I lied and said I was 18 and applied for an assistant position at Wilhelmina, Miami, and I got it. And by the time they, you know, found out that I wasn't, it was
too late.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Everyone just swept it under the rug.
Yeah.
It was a completely different team than it is now. But yeah, Are you cold? No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. It is a little. My feet are cold.
Just have another glass of wine. Come on.
So I've been paying taxes and paying rent and completely self-sufficient from 16. So I think that kind of warranted me at 17 being out and doing things. But
I'm not saying I was a saint at 17.
Yeah,
I was still, you know, partying it up at 17.
But everyone,
But it's a different vibe than LA, like Ohio versus LA.
Yeah.
I'm not exposed to like cocaine in the club, you know, at Ohio at a bonfire, you know?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm like, I guess, when's the first time I saw, like, even Miami, I didn't see
drugs.
A lot of drugs. I mean, again, I was really young, but I was still at like Wall. I was literally at Wall when I was like 17.
That's a club, right?
It's a club.
I've only been to Miami like once or twice.
Yeah, it was a club in Miami, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everyone grows up differently.
Yeah. So let's talk about what you're doing now. You're working. You're a model scout. Is that essentially what your job is? Because that's what I
Yes.
kind of got the vibe from the Snapchat show.
Yeah, totally.
So what do you do?
I am first and foremost an actress. I act and I work for Wilhelmina scouting talent.
Okay.
And so
What does that job look like? Do you go out and meet them? Do you find them on Instagram? Do you everything, all the above?
All of the above. It really, I mean, God, it's not that interesting, which is why I don't think I got a second season of the Snap Show.
So what was the Snap Show? I saw that and I think I texted you and I said congrats.
Yeah, Snap Show I got it's the Snapchat show was a whole situation because it started as this pilot that we did with Wilhelmina and NBC that never went anywhere, and then I guess they like test grouped it, and my character, and I'm gonna say character because none of it's real.
Okay, it was scripted reality.
As
every reality is, yeah.
All reality is,
except my life, you know.
Yeah, exactly. My character is the only one that test grouped well, and so we went back and developed my show, which started as something that was kind of like a coming of age story about a young girl in LA trying to pursue her dreams, and that also had this amazing job and figuring out how to balance those two things, because I think most actresses come to LA and they have to be waiters, and that's never been my thing. I'm so grateful for that, but not that there's anything wrong with being a waiter. I fully came to LA ready to wait tables and do that whole thing, but that just hasn't been my path. And then, Snapchat got involved, and then E got involved, and it turned into the show that it was today, and I'm proud of the show we made. It's definitely different from the show that I started to try and make. But yeah, it's just they're 5-minute episodes. I think it's also everyone's trying to figure out how to tell stories in short form, and that's really, really tough. We did 8 5-minute episodes, and to have I'm really proud that we had an arc in that story and everything made sense. But it was really interesting for me because before that I was unknown, and I've always had friends like ALISSA, Violet, and all of these huge people, and all I wanted, I felt like, was to have followers. Like, I'm just like, oh, maybe like these girls in LA will finally be nice to me if some people know who I am.
Right.
Like that was really a
you had that
point
feeling
of contention for me. And it's just so funny that when people started paying attention, it's given me like the worst anxiety of my entire life. As soon as I got eyeballs and as soon as people started giving me their opinions on me, and what the frustrating part was this wasn't even me.
Yeah, it was a character.
I created someone definitely based on me. The whole everything's based on me, but it's just an exaggerated version times 100 of myself. So if I look really bratty, it's times 100 bratty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was so interesting to get everyone's feedback and opinion on the show, and it was just what I thought I wanted then became really, really scary for me. So it was just a very, very interesting
What made it scary?
process.
Like, because that's what you wanted, right? You came here to be an actor, and this is an outlet,
yeah.
right? You're on a Snapchat show.
Totally.
Snapchat's a huge platform. Hundreds of millions of people use it.
Yeah.
Well,
and it got like 10 million views, which is really crazy. But what the problem was that I ran into with the Snap Show is that, I'm an actress, and I had no character to hide behind, really, because
they were playing yourself.
The show's called Vivian, and no matter what I tell people, they're gonna think that was me, and and I definitely got a lot of love for it. It's not like all of it was bad, but the 5 bad comments that I would get on my Instagram as opposed to the 1,000 that were nice really fucked me up, and I wasn't prepared for that. And it kind of made me realize I had always been on this wave of like, I feel like every influencer is like, fuck what people think, blah, 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 blah.
you have to.
No, I don't believe you have to. I care so much about what people think. And I think Brene Brown said this. We are neurobiologically hardwired to care what people think. You haven't hacked that. None of us have hacked that. And it's all about then choosing whose opinions matter, right?
Right. Well, I think what it comes down to, and I've talked about this many times because I went through a very tough like mental state through social media and shit. I think it comes down to insecurities you're feeling in yourself that are validated by the other people. For example, if I feel like I've put on weight and then I see a comment that says, damn dude, you've put on weight.
Totally.
I just validated that because
you see the truth.
Yeah, because he sees it and it's like, oh fuck, like I thought that and then I validated it through this random motherfucker that I don't even know.
That's true. Yes, 100%. And I see, and maybe I haven't gotten out on the other end of it, but I really do. I just care, man. Like I really, really do. And I always like, I'll see a terrible comment and I understand that the reason why it's hurting me is because there's some truth to that. So
exactly. It wouldn't affect us if we didn't think it was true.
But even the non-true shit affect, like, I mean.
Does that get to you? Because it doesn't get to me, and I'm going to be honest. Like, if I see someone say something, I go, wow, this person took the time out of their day to write a negative comment. They must be feeling really bad about themselves. And then I say something back positive to them, like, hey, I hope you're having a good day. Because it's like, if you have to say shit to me about how I'm living my life and have an opinion on my life, then what does that say about your life?
Totally. And I get all that. I wish I felt all that. You know, I wish I could read something and have that thought process. I mean, I'm a very, very, very self-aware person. I rely on my awareness more than I rely on my intellect. But for, you know, maybe it's my age, but I just care. And I think in this industry, everyone's like, you got to have tough skin. You got to have tough skin. I have very thin skin that regenerates really quickly. And so I think that's sometimes even better than having tough skin. Because tough skin's like, oh, fuck what people think. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. I care a lot. And I've got thin skin and it's really easy to break it. But I bounce back really, really quick. And so I that's just how I'm dealing with things right now, you know? And I'm sure it's not.
How do you think you would deal with a very dramatic situation? Like, for example, your friend ALISSA, our friend ALISSA, she's been in dramatic situations, you know, with the whole breaking up with Jake Paul and then the whole like getting the Barley House in Cleveland. They got in like a fight or something. I can't remember what the drama was, but like that level of drama where you have sides attacking, like Jake Paul fans saying this and then you have ALISSA fans saying that. How do you think you would deal with a situation like that?
I would,
because that comes with the territory.
I would actually crumble, but this is why I'm not an influencer. This is why I could easily you know, be like, ALISSA, let's do YouTube. I mean, ALISSA's always trying to put me on. She's one of the best friends I've ever had.
Oh, I know. Life. Yeah, she put you on blast.
I mean, she is just, when my show came out, she plugged it. Like, very easily could I start a YouTube channel, and I think I'd be kind of good at it. You know what I mean? But I will not subject myself to what she's gone through. I just won't. It's so sad to see. And it's, as a friend, going through all of that with her from Team 10 to right now, it's been super heartbreaking, and she's so strong, way stronger than I am. I could not imagine that. It's weird because I'm a private person, but I'm not. I'm down to talk about anything, but I don't think I need to like keep a video diary of my life every day, you know, because that just, it opens you up to so much criticism and people feeling like they own a part of you. Whereas what I'm trying to do, act, is I'm always going to kind of be safe behind something else, which is the character, which is the story, and it has nothing to do with me.
Right. I was going to ask you, why don't you post on social media? Because I was looking, you have pretty good engagement. And I was like looking to see how many times you posted this year in like the 6 months. You've only posted like 9 times. And is that part of the reason you just don't?
Yeah, it's so crazy because before I had, I mean, not that I have that many eyeballs, but before when I had like 10,000 followers, I was always posting. I had so much fun with it. I was always making jokes. My Instagram was like really great.
I love your captions. They're the best.
I kept that. Yeah,
they're really funny. Yeah.
As soon as people started paying attention and having opinions, it just, I don't know, it made me withdraw.
But don't you think people will have opinions when you're acting? Say you book a huge movie. There's going to be major critics.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's going to be about my craft, which is probably even
harder.
going to be even harder than what people think about me, because I know who I am, you know. But like everyone has imposter syndrome. You're like, oh, am I a good actor? Am I not a good actor? Blah blah blah. I just think it's going to be a different ball game because you have that shield, that armor.
How's the acting worked out for you so far while you've been out here? Because it's interesting. Because like for me, for example, I walk in the room and it's like I feel like I'm being pitched as, oh, this is a social media influencer. He has a following, and that plays a part in if I get the role or not. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Which fucking blows. Yep. Because it shouldn't matter, you know. And I know that a lot of modeling agencies even ask, like, first question, how many followers do you have? And I think that that's really, really dumb. It doesn't, like, however many followers you have doesn't apply to your skill as like an actor. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, like that's social media and followers is either you're really good looking or you are really good at business and like growing a following. You know what I'm saying? So that has nothing to do with acting. So, but I know it like comes in the back end, like, oh, we want you to promote the movie. How many eyeballs can this person bring? Who's going to watch it? What's the process been like for you, someone who doesn't really have that huge social media following?
Yeah, it's so interesting to see an influencer's perspective on the industry because you guys are expected to do these other weird things that an unknown wouldn't. I mean, it really is such an interesting process for me, because I felt like the first 2 years of me in LA were just like, if I have representation, because I did, I don't know, not that these are huge things, but when I first moved to LA, I booked a movie, Arsenal, with John Cusack and Adrian Grenier and Nicolas Cage, that I got cut out of.
Oh, so you were in it and you went?
When I was in...
It still counts as your IMDb, right?
I was in Biloxi, Mississippi for 2 weeks shooting, and it was like such a cool experience, and you know, you get cut out of the movie. But that happens to everybody. But it got me my SAG card, and it got me representation, which was like a really small agency, which were two huge...
How'd you book that first movie?
Things. And a producer that I met in New York through one... I like literally just cold emailed him like, this is my dream. I'm so sorry. This is so weird. I'm sure you get so many of these. And he's like, all right, come and read for something. So I read for it and I got it.
Wow, you took a shot.
Yeah, I took a shot and it worked out. What that movie did was get me my SAG card, like I said, which some people, like, you have to put yourself in perspective. Like, I meet little like actors every day that are like, yeah, it took me 7 years to get a SAG card.
I'm not even SAG.
Are you not?
No. I've been in 3 movies. I'm
SAG.
I'm
SAG eligible.
Taft-Hartley or what?
Then you're SAG eligible.
Yeah, SAG eligible.
You should join.
Yeah.
It's really tough if you're not SAG, and people struggle for a very long time. So that was like a big win right off the cuff. And then
basically, guys, if you're listening and you don't really know, SAG is what? Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
And it's a union.
It's a union.
And a lot of jobs out here, you have to be SAG.
Almost everything.
Yeah, to be even in music videos, in any movie, TV show. I don't know why. I don't really know the logistics on it, but
because the union protects you, whereas before, like people weren't getting their residuals correct. Like there's so many layers to it, and you get health insurance, which is amazing.
Oh, that's dope.
Really amazing.
Maybe I need to get SAG because I'm on my mom's health insurance, and when I turn 26,
when you turn 26, that's what I'm on my dad's, and I'm so grateful that I have SAG. Because I'm like, oh, perfect. I'll just go straight into the SAG health insurance. Adulting, isn't it crazy? What you have to think about. And then I got like a small agency who booked me on Criminal Minds, which I didn't get cut out of it. It was actually a pretty good role, and it was.
That's sick. What'd you do on that role?
I was kidnapped and beaten and saved by the FBI. It was a cool episode.
That's sick.
Yeah.
You have to send me and I want to watch it.
I will.
I didn't know you were into acting.
How did you? You obviously didn't watch my show.
I don't go on Snapchat, to be truthful.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Why?
I feel like I missed that wave. Like it was a cool thing for me in high school, and then I just stopped using it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I still
use it.
It's a younger thing. I thought I thought it was like a younger thing, you know, like.
Yeah, I use it as like a newspaper. I don't use it as social media. I'm.
That's my Twitter. I use Twitter as my news.
Yeah. Exactly. I watch, you know, there's like an NBC News thing, and there's a Daily Mail thing, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's the only. If I don't like go on Snapchat to send my friends Snapchats, I go over and I look at the news, and like I'll watch like the rundown or something, like the quick 5 minutes.
Rundown, yeah. I was on the rundown. The rundown was so much fun to do.
That's sick.
Yeah, doing press for the Snap show, they put me on the rundown. It was really really fun.
So have you had any other acting roles?
Okay, so that was my story, was that the first 2 years in LA, it was just like, you know, I got signed to a little agency, and then I was just like, you know, the auditions were few and far between, which if you're an actual actor, you should be going out a lot, you know? And that only comes with being legitimately represented. And I went on so many meetings, and they were like, you're so amazing, and we know you're going to make it, but like, we don't know what to do with you. And that's the catch-22 of LA. It's if you're not somebody, you won't get signed, but you can't be somebody until you get signed.
Yeah.
So I was just in a rock and a hard place for 2 years, just like trying to get represented. And then, you know, thank God this Snapchat thing came along, and I was able to get really amazing representation, WME, and my manager now, who have changed my life for sure. Now I'm like an actual actress that like goes out. Pilot season was insane, but it's really tough. That was another layer. That was like 2 years I was just fighting for representation. Then I got the representation. Then I started going out, and then I was like, oh my God, everyone tells you the rejection sucks. You don't know how bad the rejection sucks.
That's why, I mean, I want to be an actor as well, and I go out for auditions. The hardest part about being an actor is getting so close to the finish line so many times not getting the role. And that's why I love my job, because it's like everything is in my fucking hands.
Exactly.
You know, like if I want to put out a video, it's up to me to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Versus acting, everything's out of your hands.
Out of your hands.
Yeah.
Completely
You could
out of your
be the
hands.
best person in the room, but you got blonde hair, so you're not getting the role.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You could be the best person in the room, but he's got more followers than you. Like,
Being an actor,
there's so many variables. Yeah.
Being an actor is like being in love with someone who doesn't know you exist. That's what it is.
That's a good analogy.
It's what it is. And then when they find out you exist, they still don't want you.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Story of every life.
It really is. And it's the toughest thing I've ever had to do. But
how do you deal with that mentally? For example,
because you just fucking.
So why do you think you can put up with that? The rejection of like you're not feeling like you're not good enough.
Feeling like you're not good enough.
But why can't you put up with the people in fucking Wisconsin saying that you don't look good today?
Isn't it funny how my brain works? I'm such a fucking psychopath.
Well, I'm just trying to open it up and let you like see the same similarities.
Totally. And it's only because I know for a fact that this acting thing, like you said, there's so many variables, and it really has nothing to do with you or your talent. A lot of the times it's behind the scenes. It's political, from what I understand.
It's emailing a producer and saying, hey, I want a role. Literally. Like that exists. I know a lot of people that get roles because they know someone that's
because they
on
know
the
someone.
movie.
It's who you know. It's, you know, I feel like when I went out for pilot season, and I've never auditioned more in my life, it was, I'm not Hispanic looking enough. And they, you know what, I'm Hispanic, so I'm going out for Hispanic roles, but I don't really look like a Hispanic. And there's so many things that go into.
What do you typically get casted as? Because you are Hispanic. What is a role that you fit?
Open ethnicity.
Okay.
Open ethnicity.
So you could play white, you could play
anything.
Hispanic.
Yeah, anything. I mean, I feel like I could go.
You could go European,
I could go
I feel like.
Middle Eastern. I could go any of those things. But it can't be just like I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to pigeonhole myself. But it's just really what it comes down to, from what I can understand, is that if you don't fit the image of what the writer, director, producers had in their head for that role, you're not going to get it. Doesn't matter if you're the best. But if a girl
I think
walks
they know.
They
the second you walk in the door,
they
if
know
you
the
get it.
second you walk in the door.
Yeah.
They know the second you walk in the door. So that really does help me. That it's just like one day I'm going to walk in that door and I'm going to be right for it.
Yeah.
Really, truly. and it's something that I can work at, and it's something that I can get better at, and it's like I think that acting is more of a craft than an art. I think the art's in writing. So that's something that also helps me too. I can just keep getting better, but I can't keep getting better for that girl in Wisconsin. She's gonna hate me forever. How do I deal with that?
I don't know. Maybe fly her out and have a talk with her.
Have a talk with everyone who hates me on the internet.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I've actually never done this, but I just drank a full coffee and a water. I have to go to the restroom, so we're gonna take a break for like for you guys no seconds, but for me like 2 minutes. All right. Oh.
Feel better?
I feel so much better. I could have another 45-minute conversation. What?
Rookie move, dude.
I know. Well, I drank a whole water. I drank a whole Americano.
I'm half a bottle of wine in. I'm sitting pretty.
I know. I broke the seal. Fuck. I'm so... So we were talking about acting. Where do you see the future of acting versus social media? Because, it's interesting because all of the social media stars want to be actors, right? They want to be traditional. But everyone else in America wants to be a social media star.
So interesting.
And I think, for me, social media has become the new traditional, like, in my opinion.
Yeah, I disagree.
You disagree? Why?
I mean, before I came here, I asked my manager, I said, hey, do casting directors ever ask for my following? And she said, never.
But I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, like, the new media is social media. Like, that's the standard now, in my opinion. Like, I would say, walking down the street, Logan Paul versus Tom Cruise, more kids are going to run up to Logan Paul than Tom Cruise.
Totally. I agree with you. And which is why, I was like super stoked to do the Snapchat show, which is because you're on the forefront of something completely new and groundbreaking. Snap is the first platform to do original content in terms of shows, I definitely agree with you. I guess part of me wants to disagree, but then you think of 50 years ago how people viewed TV. People viewed TV as like, movie actors were like, oh, gross, TV. Whereas I feel like traditional actors right now are like, oh, gross, social media stars, they don't know how to act.
Exactly.
Like, blah, blah, blah. Ew.
There's a stigma.
Will one day they collide?
I think that's already happening. I think the Netflix originals, I think the YouTube originals, Will Smith's a YouTuber now, Zac Efron's a YouTuber.
Yeah, 100%. But can you name one influencer that's like a really good actor? I can't.
That's become an actor? Yeah. I'm trying to think.
I'm not going to say any names, but I've seen influencers that I've seen their movies because I've just been curious.
No one's broken out.
I cannot tell you one of them is a good actor.
No one's broken out in terms of acting. Yes, they've broken out in music. Bazzi used to be a Viner.
Okay.
And he was a YouTuber. Shawn Mendes was a Viner. Look at Shawn Mendes. There's definitely your anomalies where they've broken out of the mold. And look at Bazzi. Bazzi was huge on Vine and did YouTube, and then he just went silent. And then all of a sudden he comes out with Mine and Beautiful, and he's this big mega star. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still capable of happening, but I think it has to be a Bazzi scenario where you kind of like give up social media and go full blown, like, I want to be an actor. You know what I'm saying? Like, take acting classes, go to improv, and really dedicate your time and energy to that. Because for me personally right now, I cannot balance that. My job is these podcasts, vlogs, Instagram, all these things. I don't, and I'm taking piano lessons. Like, I do music as well. I'll show you some of my songs.
Oh, music.
Little teaser there, guys. I got a few songs. Who knows when they'll be released? We're still working that out. But for me, my schedule is so crazy. It's like, it's hard for me to dedicate 100% to acting. So for example, when I go out on a role, it's like, I got to rely on just like me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was doing, during pilot season, I did do one-on-ones with an acting coach. But it's hard because it's like, and especially during pilot season when it's like audition, like 5 in a week.
So many.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's super overwhelming. And when I went on in pilot season last year when I was with CAA, and I was so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like I would finish a role or an audition and be like, oh, thank God it's over. And then I get an email. You have one tomorrow. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
same with me.
And then it was like, I don't even want
to.
Yeah.
I was going crazy. I was like, oh my God.
It got to the point where I didn't even want to do it. It was so
me too,
much stress.
And this is what I want. This is my dream. Like, this is the only thing that really fucking fires me up. And like, there was a point during pilot season that I was just like, there's only so many people that you can hold in your head at once without being committed.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you're doing when you're doing pilot season. You're like, you are creating all of these people to come to life for a casting director, and then they're going to tell you no. You know what I mean? Holding all of that in for what, 2 months that pilot season goes on for, it's really tough.
Yeah, it's really hard.
It's really tough, but it's just like, it's one of the most invigorating things I've ever done.
Well, aside from acting and all this work that we've been talking about, what do you like to do as hobbies? What do you like to do for fun?
I surf.
Oh, you surf?
That's why I go down to Laguna, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I surf a lot. I have a dog. I have a 100-pound dog, and we do lots of stuff together. He's the best. That's also another reason why I love LA so much. It's like, you can't have a dog like that in New York. It'd be terrible.
Yeah.
What else do I do? I write.
What? Poetry? Just journal entries?
You know, pilots and stuff.
Oh, okay.
One day I'll be
just something light, you know. I just write scripts and
scripts, but I'm not ready for them to be out in the world and ripped apart. So it's just a me thing right now. One day I will be. One day I don't think I'm good enough right now to, you know, go that route. But that's also another thing that I think is available to us now, which wasn't for a long time, was that you can just like write your own thing and make it. Look at Lena Dunham, man. I mean, it's really crazy. If you want to, my friend Rami Youssef.
Didn't she start on YouTube? Or what show is she on?
Girls. She wrote Girls. Did she start? Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure they started off as sketches on YouTube.
Really? I know High Maintenance did on HBO. High Maintenance, not YouTube, Vimeo. High Maintenance started on Vimeo.
Is she in that too?
No, High Maintenance is Ben Sinclair, started on Vimeo.
Actually, I have a social media star that's made it big as an actor.
Who?
I wouldn't say huge as an actor, but Jimmy Tatro.
I don't know who that is.
He was a YouTuber. Okay. And he has. Did you see that?
Nash Greer too.
He's been. I don't think he's a big actor.
Is he not? I don't know.
He's not modeling. Yo, what was that movie where the dudes drew dicks all over the Jimmy Tatro one on Netflix? Do you know? Anyways, he's got 2 movies on Netflix on originals that he wrote. Interesting. Okay. He's been in some major movies. King Batch, he's been in a lot of movies. He's been in several Netflix originals. Wait, what was I looking up? Oh, I wanted to look up Lena Dunham. How do you spell her name? Lena Dunham. LenaDunham. Yep. I think she used to do YouTube videos.
I just don't believe you.
I know that some show that is out used to be a YouTube show.
Good for you.
And then it became a show. Anyways.
That's hilarious. I'm just, it's a.
But like you said, you can write your own thing. You could start your own show. Like there's a guy on SNL that used to do YouTube videos, and now he's on SNL. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So I think everything is going there at some point, but I'm just gonna keep it to myself for right now.
Dope. Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
I'll let you guys know how our 8:30 a.m. coffee date goes.
Oh my
I'm glad that I know her hobbies now. Maybe we can go surfing, shred the nar, catch some waves. We'll see you guys. But that's going to do it for this episode of Livin' Large. And I'll see you guys next week. Deuces.